So, we're starting on a hot note here on Illini Drive. Happy homecoming week, everyone.
Everyone here's so mad today for some reason. I mean, we know why, but...
But this David Dobrik guy needs to get off campus right now.
Welcome to Illini Drive.
Holy cow,
I'm Erich.
This guy is a nobody.
That's
he literally he's a millionaire.
Why are you so mad?
Because this is just stupid. This is why people hate our generation.
Hold on, we'll get into it. Let's do our rounds.
All right, I'm Alec, hosting, of course, on every Tuesday and Thursday. You guys know who I am. Fish.
Eric Fisher. There we go.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm not as mad about this, but I definitely want to kind of open a little bit, talking for a couple minutes.
Subscribe to Illinois Rivals. Orange and Blue News, right?
Yep.
All right,
Orange
cool.
Blue News.
Speaking of Illinois outlets, did you see the Ryan Evans stuff?
Oh my gosh, we'll talk about that later. Because I could talk about that a little bit.
I want to talk about it because I saw Coach Stoker today, and he was like, "I saw that Twitter fight," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I saw it, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Oh God,
That's ridiculous." All right,
Jonah, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
And Gabby is not having a great day, as you hear her cough. But
so dramatic.
But her Steelers.
That was literally not dramatic. I had to cough.
Her Steelers might be being revived, so maybe.
Okay, you know what? We're talking about the Steelers later because I'm just saying when they make the Super Bowl, don't be surprised.
Oh, shut up.
All right.
No, I'm just saying don't be surprised when they ride on Doug Hodges into the Super Bowl dream.
So a celebrity rolled into campus today. Celebrity with air quotes.
He's not a celebrity.
He's a borderline influencer, right? I mean, he's a YouTuber. He's a YouTuber. David Dobrik. He has about 14 million YouTuber subscribers, I think, about 10 million Instagram followers. And he's basically a vlogger that just... He's funny. He's a funny guy.
I'm sorry. If you waste your time getting on YouTube, watching people like this, you are the reason that older generations hate us.
Okay, I think you're getting a little...
You're really going off right now.
I don't like this stuff. It's so annoying.
Okay.
The university can get all these great people to come speak. Barack Obama.
Have you seen how much money they're about to make?
Okay,
this guy clearly has a lot of clout.
That's different. Barack Obama was here for a different reason.
No, I know. Like the university gets
don't even compare. Don't even compare.
Obama to David Dobrik.
I'm not. I'm actually not. The university can get all these famous people to come here and talk, and they choose this guy.
Because they're going to make a lot.
Have you seen the
lines? They're going to make a lot of money on it.
Did you see how crazy people went?
Yeah.
Apparently they love them.
They're making a lot of money. We're done with this conversation. End it right now. Wrap it up in 10 seconds.
One more comment. If he saves cams, I'll be the biggest David Dobrik guy ever. But I don't think it's possible.
It's not possible. They're not going to let that happen.
I didn't know about him until my girlfriend showed me a couple of days ago. I was like, yeah, he's funny. And then seeing people go crazy about him, I'm like,
no, he's
not that.
No, he's funny. What? Like if I see him on my timeline on Twitter, I'll stop and see what the video's about. But I'm not gonna go out of my way, and it's just a lot. But
I've seen funnier stuff.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I'm not gonna wait in line for him. But I did wait in the pouring rain for an hour to see Obama.
Yeah, as you should. He's a president. Well, was a president.
Is my.
So wow.
I mean, it's just the truth.
All right.
Have you got it out of your system? You good?
Yeah,
now?
let's go. Let's talk about sports.
Yeah.
Sports.
Let's wrap this up. Okay.
All right, so we're going to start. This is now.
Gabby's not messing around today.
This is now what?
She's scary.
36-hour-old news. But we're at a point where Illinois football is giving up home games. Not only home games, Big Ten Conference home games to go play in Ireland.
So that's your stance on it.
No, I like it.
I
think it's great. I think it makes a lot of sense. You were going to play... All right, first, actually, I want everyone's opinions on it first, and then I'm going to...
Let's just lay out the situation. Right. Maybe some of our listeners don't know what's going on.
So Illinois in 2021, Illinois football will be playing a Game 0 game in
Week
Dublin.
0.
Week 0 against Nebraska in Dublin, Ireland. It's part of
Aer Lingus. It's
I wasn't sure if it was
airline.
Lingus or Aer Lingus, which is an Irish airline. They're going to be the sponsors for it, and it's going to take place on August 28th of 2021. So if you're a freshman or sophomore on the football team right now, you're going to be pretty excited for that game. If you're a junior or senior, you're a little jealous of probably what's going on. But the trade to this, though, is that Illinois had to give up a home game against Nebraska because this Nebraska game was originally scheduled for November of that year. Illinois had to give up a home game against Nebraska to play this game in Week 0 in August, where both teams are probably not going to be looking their best. I mean, it's
Week 0.
It's
teams
it's
never
late
look
August.
good.
I mean, of course you're not going to be at your best. So this has divided people. People are either, yeah, this is a great experience, great opportunity. Josh Whitman keeps putting an undeserving Illinois team on a national spotlight somehow. And then you have the other half of it where you have this, hey, this is a program that needs every help it can get, or all the help it can get to get a win, and giving up a home game against Nebraska, a team that just kind of whooped you. I mean, just this season, I mean, that's going to be a very competitive game. Giving up that home game, that hurts them. So what are all our takes? I think this is I think overall this is a good thing for Illinois. It's going to, I mean, like Josh Whitman said yesterday, not to drink any Kool-Aid from him. I'm just repeating what he said. It's going to put Illinois on a national spotlight. Everyone's going to have their eyes on Illinois and on this Ireland game, and I think it's good for the program. I think it's going to generate revenue. I think all the cost benefit, everything like that, I think it's going to work out, and I think obviously it's going to be a great experience for the players. I like it, but I do see the fair criticisms for giving up a home game.
Okay, so my first reaction. So I got out of the shower and saw the email from Kent Brown, which is, you know, when you get an email from Kent, it's kind of serious.
Yeah, it's wide ranging. It's like over the entire athletic department.
Normally, it's Derek when it's related to football stuff. So when I got an email from Kent, I was like, "Oh, this could be big." So I opened the email and I read it. I'm like, "Ugh, don't know if I like this." Well, the more and more I thought about it, and the more and more I read about it, and after talking to people about it, I'm a big fan of it. I think it makes a lot of sense for Illinois. First of all, it gives them a second bye week, which I'm a fan of. And I know a lot of people will be like, why does that really matter? I do think that matters, especially because that bye week's going to come in the heart of your Big Ten season. And what would Illinois do in like 3 weeks for a bye week? I think would be huge.
It's just tough to, like, fans are coming off of the bye week they got, and then the Minnesota's slapping around. So it's kind of tough for them to be like, well, bye week doesn't matter right now for this program.
Another thing that I really like about it is, and this is going to sound greedy, but they're getting money from this. They're going to make more. They're going to get more.
That's the reason why you do it.
Yeah, they're going to get more money from this than they will at a home game against Memorial Stadium.
And it's why you do anything you do. It's just to make money. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it is in college sports.
Here's my second big reason why I like it. If Illinois somehow finds a way, and I don't think this happens, to get 5 wins or 6 wins this year, which none of us think is going to happen. But if they do, there becomes a huge argument to bring Lovie Smith back. And then there's an opportunity for Illinois to go to a bowl game next year, regardless of if Lovie Smith is your head coach or not, which he very well could be if he gets 5 or 6 wins. And if he isn't,
I'm with you.
You're going to have one of the more talented Illinois football rosters
in a while,
assuming that a lot of guys that you expect to contribute don't transfer, which very well could happen. Yeah. And the 2020 schedule is very easy. Illinois could go to a bowl game, which would be the first bowl game since 2014.
We also thought this schedule was easy too, though.
Yeah, but next year's is easier. And then there'll be a lot of energy around a program, I would imagine, if you go to a bowl game and you haven't been there in 6-7 years, and then you get to go and play on national TV in week 0, and everyone gets to see you do it when there's a lot of energy around your program. Teams don't play well in week 0, so you've got an opportunity to start 1-0 against Nebraska and Ireland. And I also think this is an opportunity for Illinois fans, and this is what Josh Whitman mentioned yesterday, to create memories.
Yeah.
And
that's just
like
how he has to sell it, though. I mean, and that's what Illinois fans will travel. Illinois fans will follow
I think they will.
They will follow basketball, football, heck, even volleyball nowadays. They will follow them across the country to wherever they are. They just always have. I mean, Illinois fans turned out in Maui. I mean,
yeah, I think they will.
This fan base will follow these teams because they are very dedicated to this athletics department. These teams. I mean, these are teams that they've grown up, I mean, cheering for, loving, and so they're a part of it. In some ways, these teams are a part of them, and so no matter what happens, they ride and die. And so I think they'll follow. I think they'll go out to Dublin. What do you think, Jonah?
I felt kind of indifferent about it when I first saw the news. It's like Illinois and Ireland's. Is that
it's tough to really? It's in a couple years.
What difference is it going to make that they are in Ireland? What do we really expect them to beat Nebraska in a couple years? I trust Scott Frost more than Lovie Smith, and Lovie Smith, is he even going to be here?
Yeah.
By then,
is the question for you, not to interrupt, why Illinois? Was that the question you had?
That was one of the questions. Why Illinois? It's just Illinois. I mean, they don't really move the national audience at all.
Gabby has a point, but I want to say one thing and then you can go. And I don't think the Irish American sell in Chicago is why they picked Illinois. No. But Gabby, you can go now. Because she's got a hot take over here.
It's a big sigh.
I think Illinois got chosen not because we were the first choice or the second or third or fourth or the fifth. I think a lot of teams probably turned this down because I don't know. I don't really think that this is a great idea. I don't know. I don't think we were the people who were like, oh, Illinois, Nebraska, we want that.
I think they want Nebraska. I think they're more excited about
Nebraska. That's an historical program.
But Nebraska's not excited about it right
but
now.
No,
yeah, but
Nebraska...
Scott Frost has been over there before with UCF. I think Scott Frost does want to do it.
I think Scott Frost just doesn't really get excited for
I
much.
think we're only so excited because there's nothing else to be excited about in this program right now.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And do you know how, like, I'm sorry, and not to say that this isn't an exciting thing, because I think this is exciting for the program as a whole to get worldwide attention and to get more attention, but that's kind of embarrassing that this is what the only thing we have to be excited about right now, something 2 years down the road, and yeah, I'm sure we're making money from this, but we're also giving up a lot from this game, home field advantage,
Well...
Nebraska fans will travel.
Okay, not
they'll
home
travel
field
better.
advantage, but
Nebraska
I'm just
fans will travel
saying
better.
a home game against Nebraska,
road game.
I think in 2 years Nebraska is still going to be better than us, and I don't completely disagree with this game, but I just don't think. I think we should be focusing on why our program is a mess right now and why we can't get a win, and not about traveling overseas. That's just
fair.
my
That's
point.
fair.
That's just my point. We're what are we now? 2-4.
2-4.
Why are we focused on going to Ireland? We should be focused on finding a head coach that can win, or finding a way to make this head coach win.
Because Josh Whitman is a salesman at the end of the day for this program.
It's a business.
He has to put this program in a light where it's going to generate money, it's going to generate revenue,
which
for them.
he's very good at.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to
understand that, and I respect that, but us as people have to see through that. Like,
I think what Gabby's trying to say here, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you wouldn't see an Alabama do this.
Yeah.
Or a Clemson.
I can see that.
Or a Texas.
Illinois is desperate.
We are desperate for attention. We're we're just desperate for attention. And that's fine. I get that you want to put us on the map, but do it by winning. Ireland's not going to bring you recruits at the end of the day. Winning's bringing you recruits.
It's going to be an ugly game.
I think this is not a cover, but I think this is a distraction. And that's fine, and it's going to make money, and it's good. Like I'm saying, it's good attention, so there's both sides to this. I'm not saying this is this horrible idea. I think this is really good, and it's going to be a good experience to do that team bonding, because we all know Brad Underwood and the basketball team has mentioned how that Italy trip helped them bond so much. So I'm sure this is going to be great for them. But for the win. Win now. And I don't know.
Josh Whitman said when he got hired, we will win.
And
okay, so we're...
When's that
going to happen?
Yeah, that's the question.
And we're going to cover up not winning by going to Ireland?
I think it just puts a bigger emphasis on this season and then the season after that, because if you're coming into this Ireland game off of another disappointing season, then you look at giving up the home game in 2021 and being like, what the heck? Why is this worth it? I mean, we haven't been able to put a program together in so long. Why do we deserve to be in this game? But if they do somehow rectify this season at all, and then they go to a bowl game this season afterwards, then the Ireland game looks huge for you. You have a pro.
That's
so there's so much riding. I think it's a good move. It's a good move by Josh Whitman to do this. It's just him putting more chips into the pot, though, to see, because this is a gamble. This game is a gamble. You're not sure how much money or if you're even going to turn a profit on this trip at all. And if you're walking into week 0 with a bad product, coming off of a bad product off of last season, it's going to hurt it's going to hurt what you can generate, obviously, and how much money you can make. And so it's a risk, and I like it. I think I see a lot more benefits to it than negatives, but the negatives are still substantial, I would say. They're at least noteworthy negatives.
I definitely think it is a risk, but I'm kind of on the opposite side of you. But like you're saying, I think there's potential for the positives to outweigh the negative. But then I start to think about, okay, what if Lovie makes it through this season? They don't fire him. He goes into next season, the same thing happens, then you have to fire him. Then you're going to Ireland with a brand new coach?
Well,
but see, even in that case, you still have the excitement around a program.
There's so many hypotheticals and ifs that I think make this a really risky move. But there are good and bad, and one's going to outweigh the other at the end of the day.
My counter argument to that, though, is even if Lovey does make it through the year and he is your head coach in 2020 and they fire him after 2020, and they bring in a Luke Fickell or whoever it is in 2021, like, that's excitement around the program. Like, it won't be the level that Lovey had when he got hired, but a new head coach is always exciting. Like, you can even go back to, like, Tim Beckman. Like, that's still exciting, you know? Like, John Gross was an exciting hire. And, Tim Beckman and John Gross weren't great hires. Like, obviously, they're both not here. Tim Beckman got fired for player abuse, and John Gross was part of the longest stretch that Illinois basketball's had not making the tournament. So, like, I think a new head coach is always exciting, and I think going over there with a new head coach would be fun, and I think it would be even better. And I think all of us agree that Lovey's a dead man walking at this point.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
Gabby, I know you didn't feel like that.
He's on his last leg. I'm not gonna call him dead yet.
He's lucky that third quarter happened against Michigan.
He's limping along. He's limping along.
Isaac Trotter said on a podcast I listened to that he thought if this got to be worse,
if the Michigan game was an ugly game, you fire him.
He said it when it was 28-0. If Illinois doesn't score that touchdown at the end of the second quarter and doesn't have the third quarter that they do, and they lose this game 50-3 or 50-0 or whatever it is or worse,
yeah. I mean, him and I were really talking about that same thing, like during the game. Like, this can't be a blowout, because if it's a blowout, then
what do you do this week? Because it's going to be.
Well, it's going to. You can't. Tough. No, you can't even have nothing. Almost nothing of his tenure here rides on this game.
I don't think he gets fired during the middle of the season. I really don't.
I think
he can be.
Rutgers is the only thing.
Yeah.
Rutgers
if we lose to Rutgers,
side note.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, if you lost to Rutgers, then it's over.
Fair. But at that point, that's
a home game against
Rutgers. At the end of the
year. Still, like, I think. I don't see if it's so close to the end of the year, then I don't really see
the point in.
Yeah, the point in just like keeping it starts your head coaching search a lot sooner. I mean, not maybe Whitman's already starting one, but
he should be. He should have a list.
He definitely has a list, but actually
he should have a list for basketball.
But actually getting in contact with those people. I think all ADs kind of like have a list of people.
They should always have a list,
just in case like something were to happen. You don't know, but why not fire him in the middle of the season? Start your head coaching job search sooner, like actually contacting people and stuff like that. It allows him to get on the recruiting trail a lot sooner. Why not do it?
I really don't think they're going to do it mid-season.
I don't think they will.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea, but knowing...
If the season's gone, why not?
I just don't see Josh Whitman doing it.
Just move Rod Smith.
Because what has Rod Smith shown you to deserve to be a head coach?
That's true.
This year.
What is Lovey shown to deserve to be a head coach?
But he is the head coach right now.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter.
It's not like
he's
you have a
interim.
defensive coordinator. Do you want Coach Liggs doesn't make sense either.
It doesn't matter.
It's just interim.
I just think the best...
It literally doesn't matter who your head coach is.
I think the best
after
option is just to wait till the end of the year.
I agree.
I think it is. But I think you still can in the middle of the season. I mean...
Well, yeah.
It does... And I don't think it matters at all. I mean, who cares?
I think
you move Rod Smith, the head coach, for the last 3-4 weeks of the year. Move whoever you want as D coordinator. Like, it'll actually matter. I mean,
I just think that shakes up the inside of the team a little.
Who would be the defensive coordinator? Gil Bird?
I'd probably throw Gil Bird. Not that it would. It could be anyone. Austin Clark.
That might be it.
Canado. it wouldn't matter. Because it does matter, because you're getting a new head coach at that point. Turnover's going to happen. So who cares? I mean, put the X on this, scratch the season, start the whole process of a new tenure, a new head coach a lot sooner. I don't see the problem with it, especially if the season's over.
Quarterback?
Yeah, we'll do that when we get back. Let's go to break a little early.
Okay.
We'll go to break a little bit early. We're going to come back
Does
and
anybody
talk.
have any last comments on Ireland?
Or Lovey?
Yeah, we started just going off on
we started on a Lovey tangent.
It's so easy
at this point.
Yeah, I just thought that the Michigan game did make a difference for Lovey, whether they had a good quarter or not. Those weren't the games that he was expected to win anyways. The games where he needed to perform was Nebraska. Yeah. That was the game. That was the most important game of his tenure, not Michigan.
Minnesota.
Illinois was so bad. They made Michigan's offense look good. As a supporter of Michigan, I was very happy with how they did, although I was not expecting the offense to look that good. But that's just how bad Illinois' defense is. And the only reason Illinois was close at one point in the third quarter is because Michigan had 2 fumbles, and they've been fumbling all season. So Illinois had the ball the whole quarter. That's it. Every other quarter, Michigan just dominated them. They just couldn't do anything.
That's what people forget is even though Illinois held Michigan scoreless in
they
the
got
third
that moral
quarter,
victory, baby. Illinois got its moral victory.
Said?
It might as well have been.
I saw that out there by a lot of people, and I don't ever remember Lovey saying it was a moral victory.
No, they're a moral victory when in a press when they're talking about moral victories, they're not going to say the word, but they're going to be like there are a lot of positives that came about this game that we could carry on with.
Yeah,
I
you're going to get that every
I didn't remember him saying it was a moral victory. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk about Illinois' quarterback situation. Lovey called Brandon his starting quarterback. I was at practice this morning and didn't see Brandon there. Gabby has another point to make about Brandon from last Saturday at the Michigan game. And stay tuned because you're going to hear it all on Illini Drive. All right, you are back on Illini Drive, and just a reminder, Illini Drive is brought to you by the University of Illinois Division of Intercollegiate Athletics, fightingillini.com. Unify, develop, inspire, achieve. And let's talk about the quarterback situation that Illinois football potentially has on their hands. Obviously, Brandon Peters missed the Michigan game, a game I'm sure that he had circled on his calendar from the day that he announced he was entering the transfer portal. And especially the day that he signed with Illinois. And him missing that game, I'm sure, is huge, and it hurts him a lot. But that's besides the point. The point is that he missed a game with a concussion, and Matt Robinson played decent. Like, he played better than I thought he would have.
Yeah.
I think decent's a good way to describe it.
Performed to a good amount of his ability.
I don't think Matt Robinson is a long-term answer. I don't think that Matt Robinson is going to be the Illinois starting quarterback next year.
I think Lovey put it pretty good. I mean, in his press conference yesterday, our backup quarterback played well. I mean, it's like any situation. Like when the backup quarterback plays well, all of a sudden you start thinking you have a quarterback controversy. It's not.
There's not.
It's like Chase Daniel.
Yeah.
You know, that first week for the Bears, he played really well, and I know not all Bears fans, but they were like, "Oh, Chase Daniel," and then
people weren't prepared for him because it's just new. Like you haven't really had much tape.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if Matt Robinson starts next week, they have tape on him now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's also an opportunity for Matt Robinson to start against Wisconsin. I was at practice this morning because I had to do a quick interview or two. I didn't see Brandon Peters, and I could have just not seen him. I wasn't necessarily looking, but the orange jerseys tend to pop a little bit. And I didn't see him. I also didn't see Isaiah Williams practicing.
Yeah, I mean
who is clearly very, very injury
first
prone.
Practice of the week. So I mean,
he could be
taking
cautious,
a little bit more cautious, especially with the concussion too. Concussion protocol. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a player have a 1 week bounce back.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Brandon Peters is out for this Wisconsin game, which means Matt's gonna get his number called again, and he's gonna. God, that has to suck for Matt Robinson. His first 2 career starts going against two of the best defenses in the country. I mean,
well, the best defense in the country.
Literally the best defense in the country, right?
I mean, that's not up for conversation. It is the best defense. They've given up 29 points. Yeah. Illinois gave up 28 points and a half.
They've given up 4 touchdowns, and they've scored 4 touchdowns of their own, this Wisconsin defense. So I kind of feel bad for Matt Robinson having to...
I felt bad for Matt Robinson when in the press conference, Lovey just said, our starting quarterback is Brandon Peters, and then he said, our backup quarterback. Like
he was trying to make a point, is what he said.
This man
knows.
This man has a name.
Matt Robinson's smart. Like he knows he knows. Well, he's not the starter.
I've seen other people get mad about that too on Twitter. Like
I'm not mad. I'm just kind of pointing out.
Like the Champagne Room got mad about that. It was just Lovey making a point. Like he's our backup quarterback.
No, I get
we
it.
still
It
have
was
our
just kind
starting
of funny.
quarterback. Yeah, it was kind of funny though. I was like, poor little Matt. Like,
Speaking of Twitter, do you want to hit this while we are on it?
oh yeah,
Because we forgot to do that.
our
Can we push
Illini
NFL
Twitter
after a
beef.
break?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, yeah, let's get into this. Fish, you want to start, and then I can say my little story from this morning?
So, not the like.
First of all, Illini
People
Twitter
should
world is
not-
great.
People should not. Ryan Evans is not a credentialed reporter for covering University of Illinois athletics. People need to know that. People need to take weight in that statement because some of the information that he does report is not always truthful.
Or correct to do.
I think, or I shouldn't say truthful. It's not always correct, or the right thing to do, or the right time to report that type of information.
That's what I meant.
And it's why that's why the athletic department time and time again denies him a credential. He applies for credentials, he doesn't get them. And so last night, but he does have standing though in recruiting. He does have connections in recruiting. He does make connections like that, and apparently he has made connections with the coaching staff too, with him and tight ends coach and Trinity Catholic Pipeline, pretty much. Corey Patterson, him and Ryan Evans were starting to get into it on Twitter. How Ryan Evans said, I think you could probably talk a little bit more about it. But
I read it this morning.
Yeah, so Ryan Evans and Corey Patterson got into it, and Corey Patterson said, Ryan, you say these negative things about the program, and then you hit me up trying to get information about recruits. Don't talk to my guys anymore.
Well, and then did you see like James Frenchie and
Reggie
Reggie Love both tweeting last night? I'm
no
not
longer
giving
doing
interviews anymore. Which is like,
And that affects my job. That's
It
what makes
does.
me mad. That affects my job because my job is to cover recruiting. And when a guy that's not even credentialed with the athletic department or covering this team or anything like that, when a guy is affecting my job like that because of a situation like that, that's what makes me mad. It's what makes me has some weight in this conversation, because someone that should not be a valued voice covering these sports teams he's affecting my job. He's affecting my job and my ability to do it, and that's the issue. But it's Twitter, and so people recognize Ryan Evans. They shouldn't, but they do.
he's irrelevant.
And it's just how it is. And now it's affected my job. It's affected guys like Jeremy Warner's job. It's affected my boss Doug Bouchon's job. It's affected several people's jobs out there that I want to talk to these guys and share their stories.
And they're good kids.
And they're good
especially
kids,
with what Reggie
especially,
Love's
yeah.
going through with his ankle injury. And that's just something that like is interesting to talk to him about. Like,
Yeah.
hey Reggie, how you doing? Are you getting better?
Yes.
Well, now thanks to you, Ryan, none of us can talk.
Yeah,
to
this
them.
Twitter beef now with a guy that's not recognized by anyone except Twitter. Basically, he's now shut down pretty much all recruits for interviews and media access, and that like I've just said, it affects our jobs. And it affects our jobs when a guy that doesn't even do this job, credentialed for this job or anything like that, that's professionally recognized for this job. It's just annoying. It's an annoying thing. Everyone in Illini is aware of Ryan Evans and stuff like that, but it's never had an effect like this has. And so now, I mean, like I said, I wanted to talk to James Frenchie. No one's been able to talk to James Frenchie really since he committed in person. No one's been able to talk to him in person, really. And I wanted to talk to him, and now I'm not going to have that chance to because of someone that's not even a credentialed reporter here.
So my story is this morning when I was at football, I was waiting to talk to Preston Engel for a story I'm working on, which obviously you'll see it eventually, I hope. So Coach Stoker is walking back from getting breakfast, and he's got breakfast in his hands. And I have a small relationship with Coach Stoker, very small. Like I don't talk to him.
It's like one of those like you making during training camp, talking to him. Stuff
Don't
like
talk
that.
to him very often. And he said, I'm like, hey Coach, how are you? He responds, hey, how are you? Saw that Twitter beef, right? I was like, what? Like I didn't see it because it was late.
I only saw
night.
I saw Mike Carpenter tweet something out about it, and then I saw the screenshot of it afterwards.
Yeah, so I spent 5-10 minutes trying to find it. Well, I found it and I read it. And I know Corey Patterson well enough. He is the coach on Illinois staff that I probably have the best relationship with.
Yeah, you're like from that area.
Yeah,
too.
and that's why. So Corey and I kind of bond over that, and I did a story on a lot of the Trinity kids in the spring. Corey is not someone who gets fired up like that very easily. And Corey is not going to put his kids in a situation to where they can just get bagged on by some nobody. And that he probably directed these guys to say no more interviews. And you know what? I don't blame him.
He probably didn't direct them, but I mean, it's just how that kind of relationship works. And I didn't see what was the original tweet that got Patterson to reply. Do you know what that was?
I'm looking for it. I think I just found it. This is a long thread. It was a very long. He said,
the tweets were deleted though, weren't they?
No, they're all still up.
I tried finding them last night, and
so some John Wright guy tweeted last thing for today. You have a champion mentality first, then you do the work, and 95% of the time it sucks to have the ability to reach the commitment you want to have for yourselves. Sungar responded saying, funny how you and I get it, John. And yeah, other guys are trusted. Fans simply don't. The last thing this university/program needs is another rebuild right now. Must have something to do with having loyalty, whatever. So Ryan Evan responds, and he basically says the exact opposite thing. And David responds again, you really don't want to go there with me, Ryan. And Ryan responds, they get into a short little beef. Which, first of all, when was the last time you got into a Twitter fight with someone?
When someone tried to call me biased for my reporting. That was the only time I mentioned something.
Gabby, when was the last time you got into a Twitter fight?
Never.
Jonah, have you ever been?
Never happened.
Yeah, neither have I. So there's just add that to the list of reasons to not follow Ryan Evan.
Yeah.
So he tweeted, I was replying to this particular combo. If you have something else in particular, you can DM me. Corey responded, you act like this on Twitter, then want me to bring in top recruits. Ryan, don't contact any more of my dudes I recruit. They will not talk to you. I'll show you better than I can tell you. And then Ryan responds, show me some wins.
That's not great.
No, it's not.
Also, Ryan Evans is a fan too. So once again, not a credentialed reporter, not a fan. I understand Robert from the Illini board is credentialed, but it's because
he's not biased
for things like these. Yeah,
in his work, he's not super biased. So yeah, I just think that this situation is dumb. If you follow Ryan Evan, quit following him. But let's get back to the quarterback conversation. Because that clearly did strike a nerve within Illini football, by the way, this Twitter thing.
Yeah, the fact that a coach would mention it to you the next day, that's something.
Well, first of all, it kind of scared me. I felt like he kind of thought I was involved with it.
Oh,
and I was like, whoop. That was not me.
It shows how I just don't get it. Like, he's not a credentialed reporter, but people still value what he has to say.
Yeah,
and he goes on, and people still allow him to come on their news segments and talk about stuff like this. And frankly, we're basically doing what he would probably want us to do right now and talking about him in the first place. And that's kind of makes me a little. I don't like that, but
yeah,
we could go back to talking about the quarterback. So now,
Gabby, do you want to give your
Gabby
point?
has something she wants to say about Brandon Peters on Saturday that rubbed her a little bit the wrong way.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like dying over here. I don't know.
She's a little under the weather.
So on Saturday, when everybody came out of the tunnel, all the injured guys or, the ineligible guys come out after. And this isn't a big thing, and it shouldn't be a big thing, but it kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. Everybody had their jersey on, and every injured player I've seen through all these games, or any ineligible player through these games, always has their jersey on, which I think is normal. And then Brandon was the only one who didn't have his jersey on. And I just didn't like that. I don't know, wouldn't you still, you're playing against the team that you just transferred from. Wouldn't you want to put your jersey on and, represent your team? I get he can't. He can't be on the field, and, concussion protocol is a serious thing, and good for them for not rushing him out. But put your jersey on. Show that you want to be on this team and that you're happy to be on this team, and you want your name to be associated with this team. I don't think it's something to be like, oh, Brandon, doesn't want to be here, but it kind of just rubbed me the wrong way, especially when everybody has, like, Luke Ford can't even play, and he wears his jersey every game.
Yeah, he stands
Like,
up on the bench, like,
Yeah,
tosses the towel
Trayvon
around.
Sidney had his jersey on, I'm pretty sure.
And he was on crutches.
And he was on crutches. Just put your jersey on. Like, show you want to be there and show that you can't play, but you're still going to represent your team against your, like, the team that you transferred from. Like, wouldn't you want to put your jersey on and be like, this is my team now. It sucks I can't be on the field today, but this is my team, and I'm going to wear my name on this team's jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
It was just weird to me. It was just weird. I don't know. That's just a little thing to end, like, the Illinois football. It's a little thought, but...
Well, we should go to break, though.
Yeah.
Alec and I got to compare our NFL
I didn't
picks
keep
from
track.
I kept an eye on it because I think...
Did you keep track of mine?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. No. So we'll come back from break with those picks, and in case anyone listened to Thursday's show where we made those picks, and we'll compare those, and then we'll talk probably a little baseball in the end, talk about how the Cardinals are... Alex Cardinals are just a train wreck at the moment right now.
Astros are up right now, 4-1. Top of the 9th.
That's pretty significant, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, we can talk about that.
Garrett
so
Cole.
we're going to head to break and catch you guys when we come back.
All right, we are back for our last segment. We're going to hit some NFL football talk. Obviously, the world revolves around it, or at least our world revolves around it. The first thing I want to hit on is how good are the San Francisco 49ers?
Ooh, I think
Defensive line, fantastic.
they're good. I think their defense has elevated them to being to the record they have now. But I still worry about how far Jimmy Garoppolo can take this team. He's been good, but he hasn't been. I don't know if he's been good enough to take this team to a Super Bowl. So I think that's like I think it's what kind of Bears fans were thinking about Mitch is. Mitch is good enough to make this team a playoff team, but is he good enough to take it to a Super Bowl? That's what I'm still wondering about Jimmy Garoppolo. But that's a nasty team that they got there, 49ers.
Well, I would say Garoppolo's better than Trubisky.
Oh yeah, I wasn't like comparing them.
Okay,
like that.
he's been much better, and you can do a lot with a good defensive line if you can get pressure before.
Yeah.
You can do a lot. You can beat a lot of teams. Like, as a Patriots fan, if you go against San Francisco will probably win that game. We've seen the Patriots' weakness in the past. When you can rush 4, that's a big weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you see the Chiefs struggling because Mahomes is injured and their line has just been terrible.
Yeah, that's always been the Chiefs' weakness.
Offensive line has just been
line.
never more important, as you've seen with the Rams and the Cowboys. Just the
Yeah.
Cowboys in both
Wait.
of their tackles, it's awful.
Quick, and sorry to interrupt, but Adam Scheffner just tweeted that Jalen Ramsey is being traded to the Rams
Well, that would make sense because they traded Marcus
That's why they
Peters.
got rid of Marcus
for
Peters.
two
was about to
first
say.
round picks. For 2 first-round picks in 2020 and 21, and a 2021, and a 4th-round pick in 2021.
That's a lot.
Wow.
That's
think
a
he's-
lot for him.
But they're in win now mode. So I mean,
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's
trade
like
away,
the Bears trading for.
trade away all your assets. You're in
Yeah,
win
they've
now
already-
mode. That's a
they-
great
yeah.
move for the Rams. It
Changes
would have been a
that
better.
defense.
I think it
They
would have
have
been.
Talib opposite him now.
Yeah,
Talib's on IR though.
Yeah, he's
been
on
out for
IR,
a
which-
while.
I think.
Why'd
I
they
mean,
trade Peters? Why wouldn't they just put
Peters has been bad.
it's also a bad look for a team though.
He's 1 year
Give
left
away
on
a
his
guy
contract
that's on
too.
IR too.
Yeah, but why'd they trade Peters to get
Well, maybe he's
Ramsey?
Because
they're
Why
gonna
would
pay
you
Ramsey.
put the two of them?
Because then when Talib comes back, you have a problem.
I don't think
Yeah,
they've
that's
liked
true.
how Peters has played. Peters has not played well.
And why not get assets for Peters when you can, and then
Because
still
he had
bring
1
in-
year left on his
yeah.
deal. He might as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how good the linebacker they got for in the Marcus Peters trade to Ravens was.
Kenny
But, I mean, they
Young?
got someone.
Yeah.
That's a good move. I hate the Rams, but that's a good move.
Yeah, I hate the Rams too. I mean, that is.
I think that's interesting.
It's a good move, but how
Yeah.
much difference is it going to make? Because their offense just been awful, just god
Jared Goff
awful.
has
Like,
been bad.
like no matter how good their defense does, their offense has just been terrible.
We're starting
Especially
kind of,
when you can't run the ball
Yeah.
early, and their offensive line has not been good.
and we're starting to figure out that Sean McVay is the quarterback of that team, not exactly Jared Goff with the way he's played lately.
Mhm. And what they can't do when they can't do play action without
Yeah,
Gurley.
right. That's how their whole system is set up. That play action game.
All right,
So how much difference is it really going to make? Even though their defense definitely got exponentially better.
let's hit on another team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Train
They
wreck
started
right now.
3-0. They've since lost 3 games in a row. They went up to MetLife Stadium and lost to the Jets 24-22.
I think Sam Darnold is my favorite meme in the NFL right now.
Why? Because he got mono?
Yeah, because he got mono.
And
and
he's
then
like, he came
as
back
soon as he comes-
stronger from mono.
I mean, those white T blood cells, they really helped. They really built up that energy to take down the Cowboys. I think that Jets team is way different when the Sam Darnold's in the game. Sam Darnold's a baller.
Yeah,
Like,
they're-
I like
Their
Sam
game against
Darnold
New England's
a
going to be a
lot.
lot more competitive than people think. The Jets should
Yeah.
they should be like 2-3, 3-2, not
Well,
not 1-4.
It's hard to win when you don't have your starting quarterback, and then you lose your backup quarterback,
Yeah.
and you have to play a guy
Luke
that
Falk.
no one's ever heard of.
Unless you're from Washington State like me.
Yeah, you've never heard of this guy. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm freaking out.
Oh my
right
gosh!
now.
Like red
Offensive
red
line.
alert, red alert. Like
Well,
things.
Did you see the video of like, why am I drawing a blank? Dallas Cowboys.
Which position?
Jason Garrett.
Oh my gosh, Jason Garrett. The video of them, no one high fiving
yeah.
him when he put both his hands
I
out
don't
to
think
high
anyone
five
really
the team.
respects Jason Garrett.
I know,
on the
but
team.
that's just
just me
like-
talking off
He's a,
No,
off the
I
top
get
of my
that,
head.
but
coordinator,
that-
not a
that's
head
the-
coach.
That's
He's
not
bad.
going to help your.
We've known
That's
this a
not
while,
going to
too.
help the team either. You know what I mean? Like not
Yeah.
respecting
But the
your
Cowboys,
coach.
their main difference is that their main problem is that they're missing both of their tackles. So you have nothing. So you have two elite, a center, Frederick's elite, Martin's elite, Connor Williams is okay, not that great.
Yeah.
And then you lose both your tackles. Like I said earlier, the offensive line is like more important than it's ever been.
Yeah.
If
Speaking
you
of,
don't have an offensive line and you don't have somebody like Russell Wilson, you can't succeed.
yeah, and
And that's a
speaking
big problem.
speaking of injuries, we got hit on the Bears losing two very key guys today, and Kyle Long and Akeem Hicks. Akeem Hicks is the
8 weeks, right?
8 weeks. Yeah, Akeem Hicks could come back for the last 3 games and potentially playoffs if they make the playoffs. I think they will, but whatever. That's a huge injury for the Bears. About to head into the meat of their schedule when they got the Saints, they got the Chiefs. Games like that, divisional games coming up. Detroit got screwed over last night. I mean,
I wholehearily agree with that.
The
Even
NFL
though,
announced they got screwed over today.
even though they should have done better in the red zone,
Yeah,
they still got screwed over.
and that's terrible because it takes the Lions from jumping in the first place in the division to now being the last place of the division. So if that's terrible, but the Bears are losing Kyle Long, who when Kyle Long's healthy, he's a Pro Bowler at that right guard position. They could run behind Kyle Long all day, and he's the life and soul of the run game when he is fully healthy. And then you're losing Akeem Hicks, who's the life and soul of the defense on the other side. You have Khalil Mack. He's obviously the best player on that defense, but Akeem Hicks just embodies what a Bears defense is supposed to look like. When people talk about Akeem Hicks, they're like, he's an actual Bear. Like, the way he talks and the way he plays, he's an actual Bear. And the Bears are losing him now for eight weeks, and that's going to be huge because you saw some of the issues that could happen in the run game against Oakland last week when he isn't playing. You saw Josh Jacobs run all over him like that. And the Bears, on the other side of the Bears' run game has been stagnant all year. Now you're losing a guy that, when he's healthy, makes it not stagnant. Bears are in a sticky situation now. They got lucky last year being able to not have to deal with injuries like this, and now it's coming back to bite him. So Bears are 2 very key injuries, and now they got the Saints coming. They're going to New Orleans, I believe, to play the Saints, right? When Drew Brees is about to come back too, I think.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He should miss the Bears game.
Okay. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because the Saints. I mean, that's another storyline this year too. And Teddy Bridgewater.
I was gonna
what
hit
he's
on
doing with the
them.
Saints. They're not putting up huge numbers offensively, but they're still winning games.
And that's all that matters.
I was going to hit on them, but there's 2 teams before them I wanted to talk about
Okay.
first. Maybe 3.
Okay.
The Chiefs.
Fine. They're fine.
That defense is horrendous, and their offense is
And
struggling.
Mahomes isn't healthy.
Luckily, their division is not that great. When you have the Chargers losing to the Steelers, the Chargers just got awful.
Yeah.
I mean, as
Gabby turns, rolls her eyes, and makes a snappy face.
as Philip Rivers said last year, or maybe it was like at the beginning of the season, they could have lost every close game they had last year, or they could have won all of them like they did. So that's just how the Chargers are. They lose a lot of close games, and they win a lot of close games. So this is just typical of the Chargers. But the Chiefs, they're just waiting. They're probably not going to get home field advantage with this because their defense is so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, the other team I wanted to hit on was that same team in that matchup, the Texans. Deshaun Watson's legit.
Fantastic.
God,
I mean, we've
every
known
week-
he's legit though.
Yeah, but every week
He's a
I
baller.
watch him, I'm just like, damn it.
Bears.
Why did the Bears draft him?
Him and Mahomes, you're
yeah,
like,
that was a
Bears,
tough
they
game to
had it
think
in their
about.
hands.
Okay, so not much opinion on either of those teams. The third team I wanted to talk about, Cleveland Browns.
mess.
They are a mess and a half.
And Baker's a mess right now too.
Mm-hmm. They have.
I think Baker got a little too
much heat.
a little too cocky.
Oh,
I don't.
I think he got too hyped up.
Well, what they
Yeah,
say.
I think he hyped himself up a little too much.
What they say too about his interceptions, I've heard this a couple of times, where 7 of his 11 interceptions he's thrown this year have been off of dropped passes.
That should be a different stat.
I've seen that. I think you have a point with that. I've seen that fly around
into the interception.
I see that. I've seen that number get thrown around a little bit, so I'll just assume it's true. If that's the case, I mean that's fine. But Baker's still a gunslinger. He's still throwing it into those tight windows.
I blame Freddie Kitchens.
No, he's
more.
so good.
I blame with
But
Freddie.
it's
I blame
Freddie
Freddie
Kitchens.
Kitchens.
It's
right
Freddie
now.
Kitchens. I mean,
that was a horrible
like
hire.
if he wasn't hired, he wouldn't have been hired as a coach anywhere else. Like he wasn't on anybody's list.
That was an awful hire.
They just did it because they'd seen McVay work with Goff and some of these other offensive gurus. They're like, oh, we have our own offensive guru. Freddie Kitchens is going to help Baker Mayfield because he had such a good second half, even though the Browns just faced trash competition in the second half like they're going to do this year, too.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for them.
I want to say something about the Browns. I also think fans in the media might have hyped them up a little too much.
I agree.
You know, I don't think they were going to completely turn it around in like a year and a half. And I think that's kind of like, or a season and a half, I guess. You know, they showed some potential at the end of last season, but I think everyone kind of hyped them up. You know, they got Odell, and that's great, and he's a great player, but I don't think you're going to make that, you know, like playoff contender transition that soon. But I think there's a lot of potential on that team because it's young.
It kind of shows you the differences between baseball, football, and basketball. You can have a lot of talent in football. You can have a lot of talent in baseball. That doesn't always mean you're going to win. And a perfect example is this was a while ago when the Eagles got all those free agents, like 2010 or something.
Namdi Asamoah.
Yeah. And Vince Young called them the dream team, and they just ended up being trash. So, I mean, talent does not always matter in the NFL. Coaching matters more than anything.
Yeah, it takes all 11 players to make the whole thing move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
We got to talk about Carolina, though.
yeah, they're on my
5-0,
list.
Kyle Allen.
They're on my list.
All about Christian McCaffrey.
I have another one for you though. The Eagles.
Don't
People
believe in
thought
them.
they were really, really good. I
no,
did
that's
too.
the pick. That's the pick I really wanted to brag about because last week I picked the Vikings over the Eagles, and while everyone else picked the Eagles, Vikings on home field, it's a significant advantage for them. And Kirk balled out, but the Eagles defense seems like it's a mess right now.
It's all about that secondary. That secondary
not
is
healthy.
so bad.
Yeah.
Other than Malcolm Jenkins, their secondary is so bad. Their
Malcolm
linebackers
Jenkins
are
isn't
okay.
really a good cover
No,
safety
he's mainly
either.
leader run support.
He's a guy that's going to be in the box.
Yeah, the
a lot.
defensive line is getting pressure, but they're not getting any sacks either. But that might be because the secondary is so bad, and then you even had Zach Brown calling out Kirk Cousins, and then he just got cut.
That's some NBA level petty right there.
I want to touch on the Eagles secondary, like you were saying, Jonah. On ESPN, it says 6 receivers had 100-plus yard performances against them. So, I mean,
It's awful.
it's right there. Know the fact.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right, but let's transition to this. You don't want to talk about it probably, but postseason baseball, Cardinals just
Can I
get...
talk about the Steelers for a minute?
Oh, yeah, Gabby,
Go
talk
ahead.
about your Steelers
Sure.
right now.
Literally,
Give it
Go
to us right
off.
now. Come on, Gabby.
Go off.
You guys always bother me when they lose, but you don't want me to talk when they
the
win.
Chargers are bad.
Yeah.
Who's bad?
The Chargers.
And they have no home field.
I
It
don't
was basically
care
a
if the
Pittsburgh
Char-
home field
you know what?
advantage.
You are what your record
I
says.
don't
All right.
care what
Gabby,
the Chargers
come on.
are bad.
Let's
that was
get
a
it.
good team win. And that's all I really want to say about it. But I just want to say that
Who's your
everybody
quarterback
counted my quarterback is Devlin Hodges, the Alabama
forgot his
duck
name. Says it
calling
bold.
champ, the Alabama duck calling champion 2018. If you
pride.
didn't know,
What a guy.
I'm just saying
He's a
they're
Gardner
not out.
Minshew.
They're not
He's a
out.
football guy.
The Steelers are not out, whether you think they are or not. They're not.
You're kidding.
I mean, the AFC
No,
North
I'm
isn't
not.
that good.
I mean,
I'll
that's what
agree
I'm
with
saying.
that.
The
AFC North is
AFC
not
North
good.
is not that
AFC has
competitive.
the Ravens are good.
The
Well,
Ravens
they've kind
are.
of tailed off a little bit.
Hold on, but they're
Yeah,
They're
but they're
shaky.
still
Okay, they're good,
significantly
but they're shaky.
better than the 3 other teams
No,
in
I'm
that
not
division.
disagreeing. I'm just saying that
Okay,
the
I'm not
AFC is not
saying
great.
you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Let me speak.
All right.
I'm just saying the defense looks really good right now, and you can't deny that. The offense is shaky because of injuries, and
Fair.
James Washington is out, Jalen Samuels is out, and yeah, they're second, third string, but they still make a difference in an offense that kind of lacks some bigger. I don't want to say lacks playmakers because you have people like James Conner and Juju, but I mean Juju's not getting many touches now because he's kind of in that double team.
He
spot.
sucks. He's on my fantasy team. He sucks.
Okay, he doesn't suck. I don't even know why
He
he sucks.
sucks.
He doesn't have a quarterback.
anyways.
And if you want,
But then you have,
Juju.
I don't know, James Conner has went off the past
Yeah.
couple games. You know,
He's good. He's always
he's-
good.
I mean, he's good and he's getting better, I think, every game. And I don't know, I just think as a fan, it's so nice to see the defense doing things. Bud Dupree has barely done anything the past year and a half, 2 years-ish. And he played really well the past 2 games. TJ Watt is, you know, getting back into his groove. You have Mika Fitzpatrick now, and I think our biggest thing right now is Devin Bush. I mean, he had
Oh, yeah.
a fumble
Fantastic.
recovery for a
Huge
touchdown
player.
and an interception against the Chargers.
To start that game. They give him
Exactly.
so much
And yeah,
momentum,
the
too.
Chargers aren't that good, but Phillip Rivers
talented.
is an elite
They're a good team.
Phillip
But they're not.
Rivers is a good quarterback.
there we go.
and
There's
he's,
the right word.
Okay, but he's also mature and knows how to make smart
No, I don't
plays.
disagree
And
with you.
know that defense
When you have
pushed
as many
him to
kids
not
as
make
he's
smart
had,
plays.
You have to be.
I'm just saying.
All
Don't
right.
count them out because of the defense.
Alec, before we get out,
Yeah.
we got to talk a little baseball.
Yeah.
Cardinals are just a wreck.
Okay,
I mean,
they're not a wreck. They're in the National League
they're a
champion.
wreck.
I
They're
mean,
in
okay.
the National League
Right
They're
now,
championship.
choking
this
on the
moment.
biggest stage.
They're not
the
choking
second biggest.
either.
3-1.
They're 3
3-0.
They're down 3-0.
Okay.
And they've blown out pretty much everyone every time.
Okay,
Do
I
they
tweeted-
try to hit the baseball?
Where did all that hitting from the previous
Okay.
round go?
okay.
I would just like to say real quick before Alec goes into it.
He's already dead.
Astros just won 4-1. Okay.
Okay.
Cardinals go.
So I tweeted last night after Marcell Ozuna got picked off, I guess would be the right word, at second base on
Yeah.
the ground ball back to Strasburg. And Strasburg made the right play to
that was
just run
pretty
right at
tough.
him. I tweeted directly after that. I feel like the Cardinals are making a lot of small, silly mistakes in this series that they got away with against the Braves that you're not going to get away with against the Nationals, because the Nationals have better pitching and are a little bit more experienced and they're not as young. And I think that's what it's causing them. And at the same time, like, I never thought the Cardinals would win this series. I didn't think the Cardinals would beat the Dodgers.
Fair.
I was, as a realist now, and I understand it more, they weren't going to win the series. They weren't going to win the series no matter who they played.
Now that I see that they're down 3-0, I can think
I'm
that
just
we're not
gonna-
going to win this
An
series.
8-1 loss. That's not the small
Okay,
thing.
the Cardinals
That's not
beat the
small
Braves
thing.
13-1.
I'm just no, but you were saying it's the small,
poke
like
the
they're
bear a
not
little bit.
executing on an 8-1 loss. Is not the small thing.
Yeah, but it blew up after that. Once they got down 4-0, they aren't hitting at all. Their lineup is just iffy.
So do you think there's any hope?
No, God, they're not the 2004 Red Sox.
I'm just
No.
A friend
I just get frustrated with this.
A friend of mine
Right.
told me about a video he got where his friend put a baseball bat in the bed with like a Cardinals hat, and he was like poking it. He's like, "Come on, get up,
Do something.
come on."
okay. We'll put Alec out of his misery because we have to
Yeah.
end the show.
Cardinals first pitch in like 8 minutes.
So
Ooh.
all right, let's get out of here.
Thank you for listening. And Illini Drive was back tomorrow at 6 o'clock with the Monday, Wednesday crew. Jake Hassan is on there. He could be miserable
He's
tomorrow.
gonna be a wreck.
Oh, that's
I think
gonna be
he's a
tough to
wreck.
see. Okay.
They're going to win tonight. But thank you for listening. And Gabby, you know the drill. Hit it, the music.